Okay, some more information on the Baofeng UV5R. And let me tell you this, folks, I am definitely in the learning curve on these things. They're very complex, full-featured, and there's a lot of questions out there on them. I have a lot of questions on these. One thing I'm really trying to learn about is whether or not I can use these to extend the range of Wi-Fi or packet radio or something to that effect. Especially for, what do we call should hit the fans communication, because these things apparently, they can have about a 5 mile range, not counting larger antennas and boosters, and we may be able to get internet within 5 miles. So if you have a lot of questions about these things, and the sellers usually, A, may not have a clue, B, don't speak English as a native language, which is one of the reasons why these radios have either a lot of markup in them by the time you get to a ham radio retailer in the United States, or you're buying them from overseas for kind of a low price, and once they sell it to you, they expect not to hear from you again. So for customer service, which is virtually non-existent unless you're paying for it in the form of high markup at a radio shop, one of the ways you can get a lot of questions answered is in this Yahoo group. There's a Yahoo group called Baofeng UV5R. If anybody's curious about where the word Baofeng comes from, it's apparently from a county in China. So that it's the county where these things were developed and apparently where a lot of the manufacturing takes place. So that's the reason Baofeng is a word, is that it's the name of a county in China. So on here, what you're going to get is a lot of discussions about all sorts of different stuff. It's also explains why the guys who are the real gurus of these things kind of, it helps to have somebody around who's a guru with this stuff, who has the time to mess with it. And I am going to go over another radio that I found out is being sold under a few different names, one of which is a Baofeng UV3R, which I think I hate to split this up between amateur and non-professional. But I would say, not necessarily professional or non-professional, because a lot of professional radio users who use a radio all day, every day, are using a idiot box radio or brick radio, and not something that requires all sorts of programming. So in reality, when we say amateur radio, we're talking about highly complex radios with a lot of features. When you talk about professional use, a lot of time you're talking about somebody who does something other than communications for a living, but they use communications all day, every day, but they really just want to be able to press a button, talk, and get their conversation through. And there is another radio that's good for that I'm going to show in an upcoming video. But if you have a lot of questions about the UV5R like I do, you can join me in this forum. I'm going to sign up for it and probably ask some of my questions. I mean, I've had issues even getting the flashlight feature to work. So as we learn together on this, go ahead and check out this forum right here. And there's apparently over 10,000 members here, and they're able to work through a lot of issues on these radios and get the most out of them. Again, if you're interested in buying one and working through a lot of this stuff, there's going to be a link in the description of this video. It's one of the Chinese sellers, and if you're in the United States, you would expect 2 to 3 weeks before the arrival of the merchandise. It can be as long as a month, but otherwise you buy them locally for about 50-80% markup for the reasons I've discussed in the other videos.